This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach. Wahoo Willies! It's time for another exciting award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone here at Wahoo Willie's for coming down to watch the show and spend some of your hard-earned money at Wahoo Willie's.
You're too loud in my ear. I'm too loud in my ears.
All right, turn that
Thank
down a
you.
little bit. And we...
No, you're too loud out here.
No, I'm not too loud out here. Dave will tell me. He said I'm too loud out here. He's got one job, and that's to tell me if I'm loud or too low, and there we go. All right, everybody, we have an action-packed show ready for you today, and I want to thank Barb for giving me the tour of Lazy Way and Pepita. Your job is never to touch the equipment here, because I spend hours making sure that everything sounds
perfect. You have
perfect
COVID ears.
and making sure everything looks good. And all you need to do is show up and be funny. That's all you need to do. Just bring your A game and be funny.
I think you have COVID ears.
Yeah. No,
like
I do.
COVID nose.
I do have COVID nose. Like I can't smell anything.
So
because
let
of
me
the COVID.
just say a quick story about that. So not too long ago, we were out on the Lanai and he was doing something. And what happened is he accidentally hit the grill. And about 2 hours later, I was like in the house. I'm like, something smells weird. And I went out, he's sitting out there, and I go out on the lanai. I'm like, something smells bad. Something smells bad. I'm like, it smells like propane. I went over, whatever he threw accidentally hit the grill. So the propane was on. It reeked of propane on our lanai. And this ding dong sitting out there, at any minute getting ready to light a candle and send us to the moon.
I don't know.
So after that, I was like, you know what? This COVID nose business is serious. It's a dangerous situation.
For the record, everybody, she totally made that story up. It came out of nowhere. I mean, we don't even have a barbecue at our house. We live in a tent. You're not allowed to have barbecues at our house. So it's so nice to see all these yellow shirts.
Yeah.
Here at Wahoo Willie's today. And there's an Easter egg hunt going on right now at Diamond Head. I stopped by on the way here. There's like 4,000 eggs spread across the sand where the kids are going to be able to go out and pick up the eggs and the plastic eggs and the I don't know, do they have those little chocolate eggs anymore? I mean, how long can you leave the little chocolate eggs out in the sand before they melt into?
They probably have little.
I don't know.
They have little candies in them.
I don't know if
Did you steal any?
I don't know if I should have done this or not, but I started to go up to the kids and I started to say, do you know that they're going to blindfold you before you go out and pick up the eggs? That's part of the rules. Like all the kids are going to be blindfolded before they go out and pick up the eggs.
You're not bringing your A game funny because that fell flat and it's creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy. And a couple of the kids started crying. And so I just left. I left there. But
I'm not even going to take the opportunity to make it funny because it would be.
Hello, Mike from Minnesota. So nice for you guys to tune in, and we are working on the Wisconsin thing. Folks walked by today and asked us about Wisconsin. Everything with Wisconsin
I have to issue an apology about that.
Oh, you're not going?
No. I messed up on my geography yesterday.
Oh yeah, she doesn't know where Sheboygan is. It's clearly in upstate New York.
No.
Where is Sheboygan, dear?
It's in Wisconsin.
And you said it was in Michigan.
No, somebody else.
Wait, yes. Barb thinks there's two.
There is two. But I appreciate you trying to save me, but I actually said Illinois.
There might be one in Illinois for all we know, right? Could there be? Wait, there's one in Michigan and one in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you said it was in Illinois. All righty. Your apologies accepted.
I might have inadvertently
I love it when she's wrong, Dave. I love it when she's wrong.
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Sabrina's watching from Cumming, Georgia. Cumming, Georgia. I've never heard of that town, Cumming,
What
Georgia.
part of Georgia is that
Yeah.
in?
So later on in the show, Karen Woodson's going to join us.
My dad's on.
Your dad's on. So
Yep.
good to see that your dad's on. And you visited with your dad a couple of weekends ago.
Mhm.
You went hiking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. We went
The
hiking.
first, I remember back in the day when we started doing obstacle course races, your dad was one of the first ones to join us. How old was he when we did this
He was
Savage
in
race?
his mid-60s, and he won
Yeah.
in his category
Well,
because
that
there
was
was
when-
only he and I only had 2 or 3 people that we had to beat in our category.
Well, why do
'cause-
you have to throw that in there? He won
Well, he
his
won.
age group,
He did.
and that was when the Savage race was done at some little dinky
Yep.
lake. And now it's just a huge thing on a ranch. That's 7 miles, and but who cares about that? But it's good to see that your dad's on there. So they're also, if you go on our website now, Beach Talk Radio News, you'll be able to see the Easter services. Am I allowed to say Easter without getting canceled? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do I have to? Is there some
No,
kind of
no, you
okay?
can say
So
that.
Easter is tomorrow, and there's going to be Easter services on the beach.
Like sunrise.
Our friend Annie Meehan is going to
Yep.
do a service on the beach, and the churches are doing their services in the parking lot. So if you go on our website, there are 4 services that I knew about. I drove by 3 churches today, and it's just
And they didn't fall down.
they look like they're about to fall down. It's
Well,
just,
no, but you going by them.
Oh, I
you're
see what
not,
you're
you're
saying.
not. You're not big.
Can we
about
go
the
through
church.
one show without you insulting me every
Nah.
5 minutes, or
No.
is that just
No.
part of the deal?
That's
So
part of bringing my
I
A
see.
funny game.
And so the Easter services will be tomorrow. April 29th, we're having a big concert right here at Moss Marina to collect backpacks for the beach kids. So we hope that you can come out for that. It's going to be from 4:30 to 7 o'clock. Split Decision is going to be playing. And
And maybe expand what they need because you want stuff to go in the backpacks
yeah, well,
too, right?
there's a wish list.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a wish list on Amazon that people can donate stuff to, and or you can bring a full backpack filled with stuff. I'm sure that if we collect more stuff than we need, we'll find other places to donate it. And then on May 13th, which day is Mother's Day? 14th? Sunday, the 14th. Anyway, the day before Mother's Day, on Saturday, we're doing a 5K on the beach to raise money
Yeah, you're
for
doing the race on the 13th.
FMB Strong, which is at 820 Buttonwood, which is still collecting things for donations on the beach. We have about 100 registrations in the first 24 hours. We have almost 15 sponsors. So
What do you think is going to be the fastest time?
it's not going to be a record time because
No,
there's
I know.
there's
I know.
thick sand at the beginning, but there was a lot of hard sand this morning when I was out there. So
Did you check the tides yet?
I didn't check the tides. I probably should have checked the tides.
Yep.
If it's a high tide, that's
You're
going to
gonna
be
be
a
in
problem.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
yep,
I
yep.
mean, you get a little wet. What's the big deal? It's for charity,
You're
right?
not going to get wet. It'll just be a little bit
What do you
slower.
think the record? I think there's probably going to be a teenager that runs it in 13 minutes.
No way. Not on the sand. No way.
Yeah, those
No
kids
way.
now run like gazelles. Their feet are like
13
not even
minutes.
touching the ground. It's like they're flying. The water will probably just make them faster. Wait,
No.
13 minutes would be
No.
5. No, that's like world record pace. 17 or 18 minutes. All right, so enough about our silly events. Let's get our first group of guests on.
Okay.
And they're nice purple uniforms from Project Hope.
How
We're
many
gonna-
are coming?
I don't know. We totally, whatever you guys want to do.
We
We have
switch
2
out?
microphones. We'll switch things back and forth.
So if it
and
gets bad, you're gonna send in the next.
just make
team,
sure
like
you're
a
on
relay-
camera.
like a relay team.
Our camera's going to be
Just
right
stay
there. There you go. You're on
Yeah,
camera. I can
you
see you.
scooch towards me, and then yep.
Tell us who we have here.
Yeah,
I'm
introduce
Bobby. This is
yourselves.
my wife, Jody.
Bobby and
Hello.
Jody. Okay. How long you been married?
I don't know.
Wait, that's
Oh
not.
yeah, I
long we've
didn't
been married.
prepare you for all of this.
That
Oh,
is
no.
not the right
Well,
answer.
we met
I think it
in
was like 8
the
years,
80s.
but we've
so-
known each other forever.
Wait, you met in the mid 80s,
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're only
Wow.
married 8 years?
I know it's crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't
Have you
sure.
been living together the
I
whole
had to
time?
be sure.
Okay.
No, we didn't like each other part of the time.
I
So
see.
you know how that
That-
happens.
I
Together,
certainly do.
not
Certainly do know
together,
how that
together,
happens.
Not together. Yeah, one of those.
So you're both working at Project Hope. Tell us what Project Hope is.
Okay, so CPE, Center for Progress and Excellence, and the project is called Project Hope. We're here to help folks. And this is one of your favorite questions. How you doing, right?
Yeah,
We're the
right.
How You Doing team. And I heard your radio show a couple weeks ago on the beach, and you said the next dumb question is, how are you doing?
Right.
But that is what we do. We're here to check on everybody's coping skills. Really, it's more of how are you coping after all of this roller coaster ride, damage from the hurricane, loss, lots of loss. And I can't help but every time I look out over the beach and the water, it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's certainly changed around here.
Well, isn't the question how you doing a dumb question? That is a dumb question.
In general, yes, I believe it is. But you got to start somewhere, and that's where we start usually.
Well, I think how you coping is a
Yeah.
is a better question.
How are you holding up? I would say might be a better way to say
So
it.
if we're doing a multiple choice answer for how you're coping, is the number one answer shitty?
That is A and B usually.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And
I
not good
apologize
is in
for
there
my
somewhere.
vulgar language.
Yeah, you get it. You know, everybody's affected it to varying degrees. Some people are handling it quite well, and some people are pretending they're handling it quite well.
How do you tell the difference?
You just gotta get it out of them. It takes a little bit to talk to them. We're easy to talk to, thankfully, and I like to joke a lot, and that kind of lightens the mood. Some people get stuck on a lot of negative stuff, and sometimes you got to throw in a little positive to refocus where you're trying to go with that, you know?
What do you think it is? You know, you were saying that some people are coping well and some people are not coping as well. What makes someone a good coper?
Well, I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. We're all different, you know, and also our situations are all different, even though we're in the same boat, so to speak. It's going to affect you differently according to how hard it affected you physically. And some people just handle emotional better than others. It's just a fact. She's
But
better at it than
sometimes
I am.
when
I can tell you that.
When you think of the negative a lot, it leaves a groove in your brain. So you go back to it over and over.
Kind of
and
like a loop.
over and over, and you just loop. So you need to find some kind of escape, some kind of coping skills to shock yourself out of it.
How important is it to have, you know, folks that some people are dealing with this really just themselves, and other people have a big group of folks that the family or friends or whatever.
Support.
Yeah. How important is that?
Support is very important. You know, just being isolated or even fearful of going out in public because you just don't feel like your brain is right. It's just not right yet. So, you know, angry, depressed, can't sleep, nightmares, all the things that you're going through at the time, just trying to find some friends and support, someone to talk to, just to get it out and do something normal, have some normalcy into your life. It always helps.
Are you messing with her microphone?
No, I think we have wire issues. It's a dinky podcast, so
Okay,
we
let
might
me
need to
just-
buy new wires.
A moment of clarification
If you can
here.
send us some coffees, folks.
If you
Buy
were
new wires.
here at the beginning, he made a big to do about don't touch any of his
Yeah.
stuff
Right.
because he spends all this time setting it up. And
I
now
heeded the warning. I'm not touching it.
and now here we are where her mic is cutting out. So just want
I-
to say maybe you
I
need
was
more
hoping
time.
your mic would be the one that cut out, but I didn't plan that the right way.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
I gotta give you a bell for that.
Thank you.
So,
So,
Go
can
ahead.
I ask a question,
You can
please?
ask one.
So we've had people on that have gone through the storm that have like they're holding on to trees when their houses are flying by, or when Karen Payne was telling a story of her husband and the dog sitting on somebody's roof and just trying to survive, and they seem like they're perfectly fine. Like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's almost like some people were ready for that and built for that, and then there are other people, like I said today, that are just saying, I'm going to sell my house and I'm getting the hell out of here.
Right. I think a
Well-
lot of talking about it helps, but then you have to remember the little things because those people that seem to be fine might be forgetting their purse on the side of the road.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
That
heard a
happened to
story
me
this morning
yesterday.
about that.
But there's no
Yeah.
reason for that. You have no trauma. You have no reason. You forget your purse everywhere.
I'm distracted.
But
This
is
is
it worse
distracted.
after the hurricane? That's
That's
the thing.
right.
No, it's no.
Hurricane
it's
brain is a real thing.
Yes.
I mean,
not.
you
What
do
is
get
hurricane brain?
hurricane brain? You're like stuck on spin cycle, so to speak. You're going around in circles in your brain, and you got 100 things in there, and you forget the one thing you were trying to do, so
Yeah.
to speak.
So when I first came over the bridge in those early days, it was like, I've said this, and I apologize to people that have watched the show. It looked like I was in a Mad Max movie because there was sand everywhere, and there were people that looked like they were, the sand was blowing in their face, and they had these shopping carts like you would find at Pathmark back in the 80s with all their belongings, and total shock in their face. Like all they wanted to do was get to the end of the bridge so that the military vehicle could take them to the other side where there was civilization. And so the people back that were going through that, how do they deal with all that?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but we're also hurricane survivors. We were on Pine Island, and we had 4 feet of ocean in our house. So it is still gutted to this day, over 6 months later. And what do? You kind of go into survival mode. You said, how can you tell? Well, sometimes you can't. They're really good at hiding all the inner turmoil going on. We just kept moving. We kept doing. We kept working, cleaning, whatever. We were stuck on that mode for what, 3 months?
Zombie mode.
At least.
Yes.
And then we hit the wall. You spoke of the 5K. Well, I would hit the wall about 1K.
Yeah.
But that's what we did. About 3 month mark, we were exhausted. And I mean, physically, mentally exhausted. You could not make me do anything right then. I had to come out of that part of it. And so people are in various stages of their own coping skills.
So how is your organization? You got a big group. How do you help them through that? What do you do?
That's my job.
It's
I
all
put a
of our
lot
job.
of time into it because I have, I'm a psychiatric nurse by trade. So I have a major in psychology, a minor in sociology. You would think I would have my stuff together, but it's been really hard for me because we are survivors, and it takes a lot of effort to put things in writing, to even think right. Even in driving, you have to concentrate. Everything that takes concentration is just a little bit harder now, just a little harder.
How do you help people? You talk to them.
Yep.
You lighten the mood. I mean, you take the serious when it's serious, and you lighten the mood when it's needed. You give them some coping skills. I mean, you can work your body, your brain's on spin cycle. Like I was saying, your brain gets so upset and angry and trying to deal with stuff that it overwhelms itself. And now your body is reacting to that. You need to be able to figure out how to turn that off.
Right.
And that's what we try to do, is try to help people
How do
cope
people
a little bit better.
How do people know to call you? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people on the beach before this whole thing happened had no idea they
Let's delve into that a little bit. So how long has Project Hope been in existence?
Okay, so our CPE has been around for a long time. This is just one of the projects. It is a ground floor project. It just started in late January.
Okay.
And we've been walking the beach here for the last couple of months now.
Okay.
Talking to everybody. And so we're not designed to actually be a permanent solution. We don't want to create a dependency of any way. We actually want to help people help themselves. And I know that sounds cliche, but if you can give them the right skills, it enables them to get in a better place emotionally and be able to achieve steps that they need to take to get better at stuff. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah. And so, as you were saying, it's kind of not a breakoff, but part of CPE, which again, remind us, what does that Center for
Progress and Excellence?
And so how long have they been around?
That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly how long they've been around. Somebody Google that for me.
Well,
I knew you would get me on something.
That's right.
It.
That's
you
it.
You got a good one.
There you go. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Mike.
Okay.
Hi.
Welcome. And
Mike,
so
what do you do at the organization?
I'm a crisis counselor, and actually it entails a lot of different things, listening, helping with coping skills, and connecting people with resources.
And so you guys are out on the beach, or is there a place where people can come, or?
We've been out in the neighborhoods, up and down each street.
You're just walking in the neighborhoods?
House to house.
Would you have a bullhorn says, Project Hope is on Lazy Way today.
Come
if
outside.
you want to come out. I mean, how do you do that?
we've run into a lot of people that have been outside.
Yeah.
So we talk to them, and then we just go to each house. And if
Nice.
it appears that some houses it's obvious they don't want somebody there.
Yeah.
So we try to hit as many people as we can. We found just a great response with door knocking.
It is, the purple polos do matter. They
Right.
come up and
Right.
talk to you a lot of times. We've gotten a lot of thank yous. And some people are saying, well, how are you helping? Well, we do connect people to resources if they need them, physical resources. But people have already been doing that for a long time.
Mhm.
Where we come in is the emotional part of it. And how do you get a hold of them? Well, we do events. We were at the
Yep.
Sunset Beach
Mhm.
Festival we did.
Yep.
We go out and talk to people. They will tell us, oh, you know what? I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but I know somebody you need to talk to, and
Yeah.
we'll go talk to them.
Right.
And so it's mainly word of mouth. We do have a lot of fancy brochures and such. Well, I would be happy to give you all our contact info as well.
Sure.
For
Put
sure.
it right out there. Put it out
Okay,
there.
I'm Robert M. at yourcpe.net. Robert M. at yourcpe.net. I am the community liaison, so I deal with a lot of the resources. So if there's resources available, contact me. I would love to send people your way that need resources.
What are some of the resources that you have at your disposal?
Well, none of them are actually our resources. We're not buying or selling anything, but we can. Our main resource is the emotional support. We do give free counseling. We will give free. Nothing costs a dime.
Okay.
We will give free referrals to. How would you say that? Referrals to resources, but counseling is our main thing. But we meet all kinds of people, so we want to connect them to their need, and
Mhm.
sometimes those are physical needs.
At this point, especially coming into 6 months, some people say you're coming into 6 months, but now is the time when the emotions go on. And it's like you're in emergency mode, you're in hero mode. And then I brought this. This is like the stress the first week. And then you hold that for months and months and months, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier.
Mhm.
And then you break. So that's like right at this time right now, there can be some emotional break.
Why?
because this is-
Why this time?
because now it's real. It's like you're in that mode, you're running, as he said, going to work, running, trying to get things done. You're in hero mode. And then, okay, the rubble's gone. Now it's real.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think too, the impact of how long it's going to take really sets in.
That's
And
it.
so, the
Oh.
full realization of the situation, like you said, at first you're like, okay, well, it's obvious what you need to do initially. And then you get to this point and the weight of the whole storm really kind of hits home.
That's right.
Right.
And a lot of people are pulling out.
Yeah.
Around the world, they don't know we're still needing
Right.
help.
Right.
They're like, well, that was
The-
6-7
Right,
months ago.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
fine now.
Not
But
only are you dealing with people who just lost their homes or just lost their dream house, or like in Steve Duello's case, it was a house that was passed down to him from his family. There's guilt involved in some of that, which they had nothing to do with. Or people have said, I have like survivor's guilt. Like it didn't happen to me as much as it happened to somebody else, but these are all my friends.
We've seen that again and again, the survivor's guilt. And also there's a picture I took. It was a sign somebody had 58 years of memories here, a little slice of heaven. So like you're saying, generational. This is hard. This is deep. This isn't, we moved here 2 weeks ago and okay, we're going to move on. This is, generational family.
even some of the vacationers we've talked to.
Mm-hmm.
See, the only requirement we have is that you are physically in Lee County.
Right.
You don't have to be a hurricane victim. We do not collect any personal data
Right.
unless
You don't have to be a
unless you have to
resident.
for
Right,
a
right,
referral
right.
or something like that. But you just have to be here. So the vacationers are like, should we even be here? I mean, there's so much wrong,
Yeah. And on top of that, you have all
I'm
the
like-
crap that people have dealt with when they lost everything. And then the insurance companies are just kicking them
Oh,
in the
yeah.
nuts, one right after another.
We've heard that over and over
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And so after a while, you feel like people just want to lose their mind because they've lost everything. And then you have people that you pay to help them and they're not, and they decide that they're going to screw you even more.
Yeah, if there's a theme of frustration, it's permits and insurance companies. That's
Yeah.
In that order.
again and
In
again.
that order.
Not necessarily.
Depends on who you ask, right?
Right.
We do have a crisis We do have a
I
crisis
know you've
mobile
been getting
team.
from the side, the off side to like read that. So go
Right.
ahead.
Well, we have a mobile crisis response team. So if
Uh-huh.
somebody's in a especially bad way or they feel like they need to talk to somebody, we do have a number
Okay.
that they can call. It's a 24/7 hotline, and there will be someone there to talk to you and help you. So if you want that number, it is 844-395-4432. 844-395-4432. That's if you really, really are in a bad way. You really need to talk to somebody. You're not coping well. You're not handling this very well.
Somebody
Please call.
posted hurricane brain is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is real. I have it
Hurricane
myself.
brain. Yeah.
What are some strategies that people can use when they find themselves in that situation? Like, what are some coping strategies that you guys kind of work people through?
Really, there's a number of things. One is kind of coaching people to see some positive in their life, because if you're looking at the negative all the time and you have no outlets, it's going to take you down a slippery slope. So trying to get them to look at the positive things, the things that have happened, how the communities come together. And I want to just say this community is strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even call it a community, I call it a family. So looking at positive things, prayer,
Mm-hmm.
as well as getting out. Some people are still, it's like they're isolated. So getting out and doing something physical, that's another way. Yeah.
Well, speaking of physical, there's a 5K coming up on May 13th. It'd be nice to see you guys out with your purple. We are going to have booths set up if you guys would want to participate in that, so you can set up a tent just like the last time.
People, and then you're like,
I know. I mean,
pulling it
sometimes you got to
right
break
back.
the ice a little bit. You guys are so serious. I mean,
well, it's a serious subject.
I don't want. I'm trying to get through a show without crying, and I was close there for a little bit. But that's a very nice hat that you have there. Where did you get
So
that hat?
introduce yourself. Tell us who you are with Project Hope.
Hi, my name is Cindy, and I'm got years of social work experience.
You can sit, Cindy. It's okay. I mean, please.
Well, maybe she's like, she might want to
She
make
wants
a
to
quick
be-
exit
right.
here.
I was just going to add on the coping skills. I think it's important for people to just take a moment and realize what all they've overcome. You know, they are strong and they can do this. And we actually met a couple that had not gone out to eat or done anything that they normally enjoy doing in this entire 6 months. And so, you know, I encourage them to get back out and take time for yourself, do some of
Did they
those
tell you
things.
why they wouldn't go out?
They did. They work full time and then they come home and they're working full time again. I mean,
They're
these
exhausted.
People, these people are having to, you know, become carpenters and figure out how to, you know, repair their own homes.
Do you have people that have like problems with their marriage? I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm
yeah.
not saying that for any personal reason, but
No, there's lots of additional stress that are put on the families.
Yeah.
We-
like what? Like
arguing, you
Yeah,
know, like a lot
arguing.
of people are not sure if they're going to stay, leave, like they're still making those decisions.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just now coming back to their home to see what they really are dealing with. And so a lot of couples are in disagreement on things like that. And it's just going to be daily stressors like that all the time.
I think the other thing too is, you know, you've lost your belongings, your pictures, your memories. That sort of loss
Yeah,
is a lot to overcome.
I've said this a million times. Like, I can't imagine coming home one day and just looking and seeing like everything is gone.
Right.
Like my house just is in the drink somewhere or something. Can you, like, how do you deal with that?
I don't have any words on how to personally deal with that. Like, I know everyone deals with it differently. A lot of people are, you know, just starting fresh and making new memories and
Right.
moving
They're just
forward.
things, I guess. Is that what you
Right.
say?
Well,
They're
I
just
think
things.
that reminds you of our attachment to things. You know, you have to be careful with that because unfortunately, things like this do happen. And
Right. We had to go through I had to go through phases of grief when she decided she was going to throw out my trophies. Like, it took a little while to build up because, you know, these are childhood memories where you're given a trophy at every single age. And she just
yes, you were-
decided that
Mhm.
she was going to take them to the trash one day. They were up in the attic. It wasn't
That-
like they were taking any space in the house. They were up in the attic.
20 years.
And I had to be
they're
away.
in the attic.
I
with
had to be away.
cobwebs, the heads are broken off the football players.
I could have
But no,
glued them
this
back
we
on.
need to keep. This
I
we
could have
need to
glued them
keep,
back
right?
on. No, and then for all of a sudden I had to be away for the weekend because that's a lot to deal with.
Well, maybe they can get you some services. All right. And so what was your name?
My
She
name is
just
Nicole.
poo-poos my
I
feelings
am
all the
child
time. She just
specialist in
blows
our
them
group.
off.
So
Like they're
I
nothing.
work with the school-aged all the way to teens.
I'm sorry, he was cutting you off. So your name again was?
Is Nicole.
Nicole. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you.
And so you deal with the children part
So
of it.
yes, more of my specialty is I'm the child specialist in our group, and I have been going to some of the local schools and organizations and talking with the children, and we work with our outreach programs and stuff in Lee County to to try to just figure out where the kids are in this. I mean, all the parents are, trying to figure out the insurance and, what to do with the house and everything else. And, are very busy with, the adulting of the process. And sometimes the kids just kind of get forgotten about that they're going through this too.
Sure.
What are some different, what is the difference between adults kind of dealing with this and the unique challenges that kids are facing?
Well, I mean, it all depends on the age group. I mean, we had a story where, we had one child that was, in elementary school age, where every time he saw the storm on the TV or, a report on it, that he thought that it happened again. So just the reality of that, the story that it only happened the one time, that it's not continuously happening. Every time it rains or it thunders, I mean, the trauma that they go through because they don't know how severe it's going to be. So, it's recognizing as a parent, yes, you're going through all the trauma and process of figuring out what's going on, but, your child's going through it too. And, things to watch out for and look out for, or if your child's all of a sudden got stomach aches, that they didn't have before, or all of a sudden they've got a headache every day, or they're clingy, or they're crying more often than not. Teenagers, when they get to a certain age, they start acting out. They start, teenagers are defensive most of the time anyway, but if it's more so than normal, they're coping and dealing with, the same, the loss of, their personal stuff and, the loss of toys and the loss of, high school memories. And, some of these teenagers that are track stars and football stars have, just like you and your trophies, they've lost things that, are sentimental to them. I mean,
don't put him in the star category.
I think I'm over it now. I mean, it took a while, but I'll never remember the first trophy I ever got.
I'll never remember or never forget.
I'll never forget the first trophy I ever got. It was like this tiny little cup. It was like a cup, and I think it was a mascot. I didn't even play. It was like 5 years old, but those things, I don't even know why I'm talking about it. Yeah.
Can you guys after the show maybe help him out?
I would like. Can we get a booth in the back, a group session? I need a group session.
We give free hugs.
Yes.
Oh, there's no hugging.
And we
There's
can talk.
no touching.
We've got
No
plenty
touching.
of tables.
There
You
you
can
go.
come talk to us.
There's
Absolutely.
the first thing.
No touching. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. How can people reach out to you? Honestly, how do they get in touch, and how can they get help, and how can they get services, and how can they see you walking down their street?
Okay, so just when you see the purple polos,
can't
of
see you.
course. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
So I can see you.
Forgot about that part.
I know.
Like I'm on the radio. I
There
got
you
a
go,
face
right there,
for
right into
radio,
the
you know?
camera.
No, if you see the purple polos, don't be shy. We're all from Lee County. We're all local. We're just here to help. We want to talk. If you want to talk to us, that'd be great. You can dial the crisis number I gave out, and you can hit me up on my email, robertm@yourcpe.net, or my lovely wife, Jody
Of
D.
8 years.
Jody D. Yes.
So what's the number so somebody can type it in?
yourcpe.net.
Give out the number again, and somebody watching will type it in for everybody.
Okay. If you're in crisis, 844-395-4432. That's for that. And now there's a non-emergency number as well.
So if
can
you're in
call that as
crisis,
well.
that means you really need help right away. It doesn't
You
mean
do.
your cat is in the tree and you need help getting the cat
No.
out of the tree.
It means you're having a hard time
Yeah.
dealing with stuff, and you really need some immediate help.
Okay.
And the non-emergency number? Did you have
Non-emergency
that?
number.
The non-emergency number, 239-689-8490.
Sweet.
239-689-8490.
Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for everything. And
Did we
hopefully,
miss anything?
oh,
Thank you so much
Probably.
for having
Oh,
us.
I did want to give a shout out to some of the folks
See?
around here. We met some lovely folks. Of course, Beach Talk Radio is number one.
Ah,
thank you.
thank
very-
you.
Oh, stop.
That's right.
Stop.
Of course, Beach Baptist Church
Mhm.
and the
Sean,
food pantry
Pastor
down there,
Sean's been
and
great.
FK Your Diet for feeding everybody
Yep.
each day. Beach United Methodist Church right down the street from there. F&B Movement, Chamber of Commerce, Suicide Prevention Program, dial 211 for that. I forgot about that one, but that
211.
is something you can
Yeah,
also do.
for sure.
211 is a good one.
We don't want that happening.
Melissa Schneider from Lonnie Kai, the marketing manager. She's awesome.
Yep.
And 820 Buttonwood. We've been
Yes.
talking to them folks. Miss Heidi over there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Really
We're going to be
good-
doing a show
really
there
good
Tuesday
people over
morning
there.
at 9:00. They're
Are
still
you?
collecting
We'll try to get over there.
supplies. So Tuesday morning at
Actually,
9:00.
I want to thank Heidi because she's the one that called me about leaving my purse
Oh,
on the beach. So
Yeah.
thank you again,
she's a
Heidi.
lifesaver.
Thank
She
you, guys.
is a purse saver for sure.
Purse
Thank you
saver.
guys for coming. We appreciate
you
it.
so
Hopefully, we'll
much.
see you at the
Thank
next
you.
event.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all.
The
Appreciate
folks
it.
from Project Hope, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time. All right, before we get to the star of the show, Karen Woodson, I want to tell you about Valerie's Lounge and Liquors. They are open for business, everybody. Cheers isn't the only place where everyone knows your name. Welcome to Valerie's Lounge and Liquors, where they've been bringing fun and festivity to Fort Myers Beach since 2002. They're located in the Indian Creek Plaza on San Carlos Boulevard. It's the go-to hangout for locals. They're always devoted to having good times and maintaining a fun, engaging atmosphere every single day of the year, even on holidays. Valerie's Lounge and Liquors. And we're going to have the folks from Valerie's on an upcoming show, aren't we? The 20-something, Marie says. 20-something. And that'll be at Margaritas, right? Yeah. All right. If you're thinking of selling your home, if you're thinking of buying a home, Jorge Barrera is the man to call. He's friendly. He's caring. He has a lovely wife that loves our tank tops. And she loves them so much, she doesn't mind modeling them. She's on our website modeling them. But if you want to buy and sell a home, check out Jorge Barrera or call him right now, 791-9893, 791. What's with the flies today? I got eaten up at Lazy Way by the no-see-ums and the flies today. So Jorge Barrera is giving like 10%, not like 10%, exactly 10% of his commissions to local Fort Myers Beach hurricane relief organizations. Well over $31,000 donated from Jorge. And he still volunteers at 820 Buttonwood. That's a crazy guy right there. He's got so much time. He's over there helping people out. Give Jorge a call. You see the signs all over the beach. And his phone number is 791-9893. You know, if you build a house, the last thing you want to do is build a house that doesn't have a roof on it, because that would be dumb. Because, you know, without a roof, you're going to get a lot of sun, but you're also going to get a lot of wetness or rain. Liberty Roofing and Construction is who you want to call, your trusted roofing company. Your roof will be done within 30 days. I don't have business cards. Write our phone number down. You can receive a free assessment from Patrick McKenna at 401-439-9585. 401-439-9585. Liberty Roofing and Construction. We only talk about people we trust on the show. We're not going to lead you down a path of somebody that's going to take your money and run away. Liberty Roofing and Construction, your trusted roofing company. A total system 50-year warranty, Dave. 50 years. That's incredible. All right, folks. We hope you're having a great Easter weekend. It's a lovely day on Fort Myers Beach. Let's see. It's probably been, I don't know how many weeks, couple months since we had Karen Woodson on. We were on the other side. Of, and then they put booths in over there, and they kicked us over to hear but it's still a nice view in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Town Councilwoman Karen Woodson. Wow. Karen Woodson got a bigger round of applause than you did, dear. How about that? Karen, we're going to have you nice and close here. Thank you. Yeah, well, that microphone's going to work the best. Oh, that one works fine, too. They all work great. Yep. Let's see how you sound. Go ahead.
Nothing. Oh,
I don't see
mine's
any.
working.
There we go.
There we
is.
go.
There it is.
Very nice. All right, Karen. First of all, tell us how the Easter egg hunt went.
Oh my God, it was so cute. I didn't get there for the whole thing. I missed the little kids, but I was there for like the 5 and 8-year-olds and then the older ones, but it was really cute.
There was like 4,000 eggs or something out there. There were so many eggs out
There
there.
were like 4,000 kids. I mean,
Really? Where'd they come from?
I don't know, all over the place. There were tons of families
Yeah.
there. And I mean, there were a lot of kids there.
Nice.
It was fun.
Or was it a free for all?
I think it was more of a free for
Isn't it always with the
Yeah,
Easter egg hunts? And it was a big open field too. It's not like
I
they were
know.
hidden. They were
I know.
everywhere. So
Well, and what's left, if they didn't get them all, the birds are going to have a heyday. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
So-
and the Easter bunny was there
Yes.
and his carrot.
Wow.
What does
like
that
a
mean?
separate. Carrot?
Yeah, the carrot was separate.
I
The
see.
Easter bunny,
Interesting.
and so yeah,
I-
Mayor and Megan.
oh, I see. Oh, he dressed up as the Easter
He
bunny.
was the
I
Easter
see.
bunny, and Megan was a carrot.
I have to say that,
That had to be warm too.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah.
Yeah. Can you
It-
imagine?
Do you remember when you were a kid that like we hid?
no, I
I
don't.
mean, we hid the actual eggs that we colored
Yeah.
the night before.
right,
Right.
right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
They didn't have plastic eggs back
I
in
know,
the day.
Did
filled
they-
with all kind of goodies.
did they have chocolate eggs out there? I can't imagine they had
No.
chocolate eggs out there. It would have
did
melted.
They had real eggs.
Yeah.
They
oh,
did
they
have
did.
real eggs,
Yeah.
but and I think they had filled ones too. But they had real eggs.
Were there money in any of the
I
plastic
don't
eggs?
know.
Because I mean, that's all the
Like
kids.
a Fabergé
Yeah,
I mean, do
egg.
the kids these days care about money more than they? What do they want in their eggs? These kids these days.
I
have
think
no
money
idea.
is
Candy.
better than chocolate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially in that
That's
heat.
the older
My
kids.
opinion.
The younger
Yeah.
kids are like they just want
They
candy.
just want the egg. They just want the. You
They
know,
just want
to
the
win.
They want the basket with the most eggs in it.
They do.
Just like
Yeah.
Halloween, you want the bag with the most candy in
That's
it,
right.
which you're never going to eat.
But you should never put all your eggs in the same basket.
Oh,
Oh.
Do not applaud for her. That is not so.
I used
Lame.
to buy on Halloween. My kids would come home with all this candy, and I didn't want them to eat it, so I would buy it back from them.
Oh,
So we would have negotiations on how much the Baby Ruth was worth, or how much the Butterfinger was worth. And,
What was worth more?
Butterfinger, because I liked Butterfingers.
All right, I would say Snickers, and would be mine was
Right.
worth.
Butterfingers
yeah,
for
gotcha.
me.
What about you?
Hershey Kisses.
I see.
Oh,
Yeah, I
still,
find still
see?
to this day, I find those little crumpled up Hershey Kisses things all over the house. They're everywhere. When
Those-
they're cleaning out the pool today because we're getting our pool redone, there's going to be some of those things in the
Yeah.
bottom of the pool.
I'll tell you what, those ones at Christmas, the peppermint ones, those are the bomb.
Really,
They
I
have
have no
hot
idea what you're
cocoa
talking about.
now. They have all sorts of flavors in the Hershey Kiss,
Nice.
people. I should take some stock out in there because I.
Yeah. Let's
Probably
let's
would get
stick to our
some.
guests, please,
Okay.
dear. Enough
All right.
about you. So, first of all, Karen, we
So do
need
you have candy on the town council? Like, do they have a candy dish there?
I have not
No.
seen it.
They need to
No.
do that.
what,
I haven't seen
speaking of that, we need to give a shout out to Diamond Head. I mean, those
Oh my
folks have
gosh.
stepped up for everything.
Everything. You know what? I was just talking about that today at the table that I was sitting at afterwards. It's like they have become the partner for the town.
Right.
You know, donating the room for every event, for every meeting,
Yes.
all the advisory boards. They have been outstanding.
It would have been difficult to figure out how to do it without them. I mean,
Oh.
where would you be holding all those meetings? There's air
Probably
conditioning.
still in the tent.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and this,
Yeah.
you know, there were some blips at the beginning, but we figured out how you guys figured out how to do the video, so everything's clear. The sound is good.
Did you see all they have the new mics in now? Did
Nice.
that last meeting
Yeah, the
of
last
board
meeting,
cap
yeah,
and everything?
yeah.
It was all the new mics
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
awesome.
Every week it seems like it's
Except
getting
I
better.
didn't know that I
Turn it
couldn't
on.
just turn it off and on anymore, and I was just talking away. I'm like, oops.
They've been outstanding, and it's I just hope people remember that when things get back to normal, and that they really stepped up, you know,
Yeah.
and helped out the town in a big way. I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't need to do that. They could just go about their business and rent rooms
exactly.
and do it like that. But
Well,
they really
and
have stepped
they
up.
still have the rooms, I believe, set aside for the essential workers and people that
Mm-hmm.
are in town. In addition to, they keep opening more rooms
Yeah.
for vacationers, but they still have the essential worker rooms.
You know, it was so funny today as I was driving by Diamond Head, I saw a guy outside painting, like he was painting the outside of the building. In normal times, that would seem normal.
Right.
But there's debris everywhere
I know.
around Diamond
know.
Head. And here's the guy painting the outside of the
With
building.
a roller.
With a roller,
With a
making
roller.
it normal,
I
making
know.
the building
I
look
know.
normal.
It
It was
was
just
so
like
cool.
so out of, it's crazy how times are. That
Yeah.
was like out of touch with the rest of what's going on.
Did
But
you look around
Yeah,
here?
yeah, but
no,
they're-
but he's trying to make, he's
Yes.
doing a great
Well,
job.
I think
for sure.
each place is in its own stage of recovery.
Right.
So
Right.
today, when I was walking around and talking to people, one of the questions that comes up a lot is we have now, it's been over 6 months. There are certain houses and buildings that have not been touched yet.
Mhm.
There's so much going on. There's so much for the town to deal with. There's so much for everybody to deal with. But there's certain places that haven't been touched. How is the town dealing with? Okay, you got to clean up your
Right.
crap now.
Well, and town hall is one of them.
Right.
And
Setting a
town,
bad example.
town hall is, oh my gosh, I just have to say, this little girl,
Yes,
she's
co-
so cute.
She's coming. Don't hold your answer. She wants to come over. Come over this way. Come over this way. We saw each other at the Easter egg hunt, and so
see,
I want you to grab a
my bracelet?
microphone.
Oh yeah,
And
nice.
Now your camera's going to be right here, so I know you want to go ahead and say whatever you want to say.
Happy Easter.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Well, and what are you doing? You have your bag of
You,
goodies,
I'll
right?
hold this for you. Go ahead. Now
I have something for you.
Oh
for
my
you.
goodness.
And this
Thank
is for
you.
you. It's
Thank
a
you.
bracelet that says Beach Talk Radio.
Oh wow,
Oh my
How cool is
goodness.
that?
that's very nice.
So
And
sweet.
I have mine from this morning. You were
Thank
over
you.
at Diamond Head, and she was selling her bracelets for $1 a piece, and so I have
You
mine.
need to remember that.
Did you
It's awesome.
make these yourself?
Yes.
She did.
Wow, that's very nice. Thank
She
you
did,
for
she
that
did.
so much. How many eggs did you get this morning?
Let's just say a lot.
Yeah, okay. Now, did you break them open? Was there any money in the eggs?
Not any money.
What?
but
They didn't put any money in there? Did you see all those rich people over there putting those eggs out? They didn't put any money
They're
in
trying
those
to build their
plastic-
houses. Come on.
So what were in the eggs? Were they regular eggs? Like
They were so they're plastic eggs and they were like candy inside.
I see. So you got a lot of candy.
Perfect.
Yes.
So you're gonna throw that out when you get home, right?
No.
Because you're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite candy?
My favorite candy is Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
Oh, there you
Reese's
go.
Pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very nice.
sister, go high
Did you
on that
check
one.
and
That's
see
a
if-
good one.
Butterfinger? I love Butterfingers. No
Did you check and
Butterfingers?
see if you got any Reese's Pieces in the?
I don't think we got any chocolate because I think if we got chocolate, it would melt
Of
already.
course, yeah.
He's-
Silly. There, it would have melted. Why did you ask that
You're
question?
so
So,
silly.
so now, do you live here?
We live in New York,
Yeah, New York.
Oh, where do you live
Oh.
in New York?
Manhattan,
You live in Manhattan.
Wow, nice.
Very nice.
The Upper
Very
East Side?
nice. Yeah.
Upper East Side.
Oh,
see.
very nice. Upper East Side. Wow. So are you a Trump fan or? Oh, never mind. I
No,
didn't mean
no,
to
don't
ask
even
that.
go
Oh, I
there.
don't want. I
Come
mean,
on.
the crowd's going crazy.
Don't digress.
But you can answer that if you want.
How
or-
old are you?
9,
9. So
You're
what
not-
grade are you in?
4th grade.
Nice.
9.
so
Nice.
well
You're like-
spoken.
To me, you're
so
like 19. The
presentation.
way
I
you're
know.
talking, she's like
I know.
19.
She's
So-
So when are
amazing.
you going to run for president?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. When you
Think
grow
about it.
10
What-
years maybe? Give it 10 years.
When you
Yeah.
grow up, what would you like to do?
I like to act.
Oh, of
so
course.
Like,
Oh, well, you're
I
in the
think you're
perfect
gonna be-
place.
yeah,
Broadway.
I think you're going to be really good at that. So, well, thank you for the gifts and thank
you
for,
so
I'm
much.
I'm gonna-
They're
So cute.
beautiful.
Thank you very
That could
much.
be-
And thank you
that
for
could
coming
be
on
a-
the show.
You're
Anklet for you.
welcome.
All right. Hope
I
you got a
know.
lot of Reese's
Somebody
Pieces.
gave
Thank
us
you.
this last-
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's cool. Yeah, that's totally cool.
Oh, to be 9 years old again, everybody.
Yeah.
Can you remember?
Did you like my diversion from your
It was
questions?
very nice, Karen. Good work on that.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Wow. 9 years old.
I know,
I know.
she's
Crazy.
incredible. She came up to all the tables and we all bought bracelets and
Nice.
yeah,
It was,
it was
so
very fun.
sweet. So sweet.
When
Yeah.
When she said the Upper East Side, I was like, okay, well, there you go.
I was
Yeah,
being
Upper East Side.
I know you would. I know.
What
You
is
were
the-
just throwing that out there. And she's like,
just
yeah.
throwing it out there. Yeah.
is the
actually.
Upper East Side where all the money is? I have no idea.
I think
Moving
Manhattan
up to,
in
remember,
general,
moving
like
True.
up to the east side
I see. Well,
with
like
a
the
deluxe
Jeffersons.
apartments in
in
the
the
sky.
sky. We're moving on.
Wow,
up.
that was very nice. I mean, yeah, when she's
She's
I
so
mean,
well
oh,
spoken.
yeah,
She
for
is.
She had a
9
great
years old.
voice too. Great
Yeah.
voice.
So
Very cute.
I didn't lose my place, Karen. My question was, you hear people talk about, they're working on their house, but there are other people that haven't touched anything. And so is there, I know there's so much going on, but is something in place where, okay, now folks, you gotta pick this, you gotta do something.
It's not in place yet, but we have had a lot of conversations about it. A part of the holdup is insurance. And if they have adjusters or they have an attorney because they haven't been paid, then they will say they're reluctant to do anything because they don't want to remove anything that could still be inspected again and that kind of thing. So we have that going on with Town Hall right now. So once we get all of that signed off on, then we can go ahead with the demo of that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people waiting. On the flip side, there might just be people that are just, reluctant to do anything, and I don't know where that sits.
And
But
I don't know
they
that
might
there's-
be overwhelmed
I
and
think that- I
just,
think that-
yeah.
Right.
I think that's part of it. It's like, how do you go
Right.
after? There's so many. Like every time you think all the debris is gone, the next weekend you come
Right.
down and there's
Right. There's
some
more.
other houses that got knocked down, and there are many more
Yeah.
that will probably be knocked
Well,
down.
and I've seen, on the bike ride, I've seen houses that still have the contents inside of them, but the house, you know everything in there. It's good. That's what I worry about too. Like, you want to get that out of there, or you wanted to get that out of there when they were picking it up, because eventually
Right. You're going to
there's
have
going
to
to be
pay
a
for
cost
it or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But I think they also have, and I don't know if we can extend anymore. They said no, but who knows?
How can you not?
is-
But
I
how
know.
can you not?
I know, exactly. And I don't know how much the debris cleanup really is individually if you have to
The
hire
cost of
someone
that,
to
yeah.
do that. But to me, there has to start being some kind of stepping stone, just like the RVs. We said 18 months, and there could be an extension if you are truly in the building mode, if you have your permits going, if you have things like that, but it's just taking longer. We understand that, there'll be grace periods, I would think. And I think we have to do the same with demo.
You what's going on with the tents?
The
People
tents,
living in the tents.
most of them have been removed.
Okay.
I believe. We found some shelters for people.
You
that
weren't in
didn't have
favor
any
of the
place.
tents.
I wasn't in favor of the tents. It's hard enough to look at all the destruction and then to have it turn. And it's not that I don't have empathy for the people that don't have a place to live, but I think there's options for them, and people have found options for them, whether it be shelters or other living areas, but they're pretty much gone. Everything I've seen, I haven't seen very many of them at least on the beach. They do have them on the other side of the bridge.
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Not our problem though.
But that's not Fort Myers
I think it's a
Beach.
hard, it's a hard thing when someone's lost their place.
It's really hard.
that they can't inhabit the last piece of land that they have. So was the problem with the tents the way, what was the issue with the tents?
Well, I don't think the people that actually owned the land were the people in the tents.
Okay.
So I think they were allowed to put their tent there maybe by the owner.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that, but I don't think they actually owned the land where they had their tent. So,
Okay.
but they have been helped, is my understanding, and they have been moved, and they're in better places.
Are you opposed to a homeowner that doesn't have a home yet, that is trying to rebuild a home, living in a tent on their own property?
I'm probably not as opposed to that because it is their own property, but I just think for their own sanity and everything else, there's better places that they could find.
But
or be found help.
you can't have it both ways either. You
I
can't
know.
have a tent. You're not
Well,
allowed
it's
to live
good
in a
that
tent,
I don't
right?
have to make that decision right now.
Right. So the 7-Eleven sign I want to talk to you about. What was your take on that whole thing? It went crazy on the 7-Eleven sign.
Well, I have to. This is not a cop out, but I was out of town during that week.
He's still paying attention though.
Oh yeah, you have to pay attention to all of it. But I think it was, what was it? It was too big. Is that?
It was not an approved
It was
sign.
not an approved sign.
And somebody
so-
filed a complaint. I think it was I don't know for sure, but I think it was a real estate agent that filed a complaint because they're not allowed to have signs that big. And if we're going to play by the same rules, we're playing by the same rules.
Well, and I mean, for the sake of consistency, yes, we had to do it and we had to take it down and we had a complaint. But I'm just glad to see them back. Let's just put it that way.
Well, they're not
coming
back yet,
Well,
but
they're
they
not
are
back,
coming
but they're
back. But
coming
yeah.
back.
So today,
So,
let's
and they
start.
gave out free slushies.
Oh, please. All those Slurpees do is make people fat.
Slurpees,
Slushies.
not slushies.
Where's the slushie
Slurpees.
from? I took a
Minnesota,
picture. No, I can't find it, of course. So,
right? Right.
Wait.
Slushies.
Not Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
So I took a picture today of the Publix sign. Now, Publix has a sign up that they're reopening soon. Did you see that?
I have not seen
Now, of course,
that. What is soon?
that's a good question.
I wanna know
Neither
when
Dan
is
knows
soon.
or Jim knows. I asked them both. You don't know either.
I
So
don't
they're
know.
not communicating with the town. Wouldn't it be nice if Publix communicated with the town when they would be reopening? Because
It would be great.
people would.
Well, maybe they're not sure. What
Well,
are you
it
going to make
says-
a comment
well,
about the sign?
No, well,
The
of course,
size of
I
it?
didn't post anything about the permit for the sign, but everybody else did because they were, they were flashing back to the 7-Eleven sign.
Right.
But isn't
So-
that the same size?
It is the same
Sign?
size. It
Oh,
is. So
okay.
I'm guessing but if nobody complains, I mean, the whole thing is silly. I mean, the whole thing is silly. People want to see signs that say opening soon, we're
Right.
coming back.
Right.
But I mean, and then
Back in
somebody,
full
the fact that somebody
strength,
filed
whatever,
a complaint
yeah.
was goofy to me. I mean, I'm no fan of 7-Eleven because I think that if they really cared about Fort Myers Beach, they would have been open already and they would have done something. You can't get a bottle of water
I
on
know.
Fort Myers
Or
Beach. You can't get a
ice.
gallon of gas. You can't get
Yep.
shit on Fort Myers Beach right now because these people think like Publix and
still have a
7-Eleven,
child over
these people think that nobody's here.
I know.
It's ridiculous. There are tons of people here. I mean,
Well, there's
it
tons
doesn't
of
fit into their
people-
business model.
Right. There's tons of people here, but have you noticed the lack of people in the past week?
Yes.
It has
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
Yes.
dropped off,
I think
yeah.
people are normally it's after Easter that you see the drop, but it's
A
been
week
a big,
earlier.
It's been a big,
Yeah.
big drop this
But my
week.
point
Yep.
is, if these people like 7-Eleven, these massive corporations that make so much money, like 7-Eleven and Publix, really cared about a
Mm-hmm.
community that got killed by a Category 5 hurricane, I don't care what
Only
people
four
say.
when it
I don't
hit
care what people
landfall.
say. They would have opened with limited business. Publix would
I
have
have
been
to agree with you. I
Publix
tend
would
to
have been
agree with you all the way
flooded
through
every
everything.
day.
Yeah, they would have been.
So you
They
don't.
would have
So
been.
you don't have every single thing.
And the closest Publix was torn down.
Yeah.
It's not. It's under construction. It's going up really fast, but so yeah, that one was torn down. So why wouldn't you open this one? Because people have to drive all over
Yeah.
traffic
Did they
and
have
everything else to
structural
find a
damage?
Publix.
No, I think that one was planned to be knocked down. That Publix. It
No,
wasn't.
no. The
Oh.
one on the beach. Did they have structural damage?
No.
I have
Okay.
an
I don't
inside.
think
I have
so.
an inside. We have an inside friend who's been kind of giving us information that he shouldn't be giving us, and it's that they're.
Well, I have received, for the record,
Well, when I
have
tell you later
no-
who it is, you'll know who it is. But
I know, but whoever it is, I don't know, and whoever it is hasn't said it to me. That's all
Well,
I'm
my-
saying.
she's got a.
I'm covering
She
myself.
doesn't want to go into podcasting jail for some reason.
That's right.
Like we're going to say
That's
something.
right. Are you guys
Uh,
under the sunshine laws?
No.
Please. So anyway, enough of my soapbox. So we've had a lot of stuff going on, Karen, that you were in the
Here
middle
we
of,
go.
but we'll save that for
What's
the
going
end.
on? I don't think there's anything going on, is there?
Are you happy with the permitting process?
I'm happy that there have been changes made, that it's moving forward. We are not there yet. We're getting there. So we are really working hard on bringing everything that we possibly can in-house. So we were able to get approval to hire 4 full-time people that were actually from the state and helping us. And we had 45 people from the state, all in different capacities. So a lot of the code enforcement people, we had like 15 code enforcement people from the state. They're all gone. Everybody, just so you know that, they're all gone. But we had a lot of people in the permit office from the state, and we were able to retain 4. They actually applied for jobs as we opened them up, and they were really good people. So we hired those 4. We are trying now to use contractors only on a scale up or scale down basis when we need it. We are not just automatically using contracting firms across the state. So it's getting there. It's not there yet, but it's a lot better than it was.
Okay.
So you got 4. How many were there before they pulled out? Like how many?
These are 4 replacements.
Okay.
Of people that were there. So
the state was originally paying for that. The state contract expired, and the town figured out how to cover the cost to bring the 4 back. Is that correct?
The 4 that came from the state are actually open positions that we had before with people that left during Ian or couldn't make it back on the island or whatever.
Are you still getting complaints from people about permits?
Well, you're always going to get complaints.
Yeah. Less now or the same amount?
Way less.
Okay.
Way less. And truly, a lot of the complaints are they just don't agree with why they have to have a permit.
I see.
It may not be, I don't agree with why a lot of things that we have to have permits for, but there's something that we can't do about it. I mean, it's FEMA. It's 50%. We've got to abide by those rules.
Why can't this might sound stupid to anybody from the town listening, but why can't the permitting department be open 24 hours? Like this is the biggest thing for these residents on the beach.
Because we don't have the staff to do it.
They don't have the staff. Okay.
We don't have the staff. When the reason that we pulled back on the hours again, we had extra people from the state.
That's
we don't
what I was
have
getting
those
at,
extra
how
people
many
anymore.
people, right.
So the other thing that's happening is all the contractors that we had, I think Keith is coming for approval to the council either in the next meeting or the meeting after that to actually replace the contractors with full-time people. And that's basically not a budget thing. That's just a wash and probably less because we're not paying the contract markups for that. So there'll be more positions that are open and hired because we're going to bring contractors in-house.
Do you feel like the town is doing enough to get people permits fast enough to build their homes? Yes or no?
I think we can do better.
How?
By streamlining some of the efforts. I think by having the contractors have people in-house that everybody is going to work into a rhythm and sync, and the processes are going to be streamlined versus everything going over to the East Coast and then you have no control over it and then it comes back. So I think it will continue to get better. And I know it's a huge objective on Steve Proposki.
Are there different permits? Like, can you have specialists in electrical permitting? And I mean, are there any other ways to streamline that, to make it more
I mean, they
effective?
have already kind of categorized some of it. Whether we have enough people in those categories is still part of the issue too. There was Keith was meeting with a number of people that do a lot of permitting, a lot of contractors and that kind of thing. And then it came out that might be in violation of sunshine laws, which I don't think it was. But now he continues to meet on an individual basis with these people and just brainstorm and get ideation and that type of thing. So I do think it's going to continue to get better. We're not there yet. I'll be the first one to admit it.
Okay. Some people, last question about the permitting. And then we got to talk about the town manager, but some people that I talk to say that the town is really nitpicking them on certain things. Like you nitpick them on one thing and then it goes back in the portal and then it's just a delay, where they could be, if we actually sat down with somebody who knew, because of these residents who are dealing with this, which you are too, Dan is too, Jim is too, everybody's dealing with it personally.
Right.
If you could just help me get through this so I understand it. I'm printing out 24 pages. I'm printing out 18 pages. I'm just trying to rebuild my home. How do you get to the point where somebody could actually sit down with them and say, okay, let's do this so you can go out and drill and saw and put your life back together?
more and more, there are meetings that are taking place. There are appointments being made. Steve Proposki has said that over and over. You know, come into the offices. We are willing to sit down. We're willing to talk to you. You know, understand we're also in the middle of a huge culture change. This is unlike anything we have done in the past, or at least since I've lived on this island. We went to a very closed-minded, closed culture for a number of years, and now we're changing that culture, but some people are slower to change than others.
Is Steve the right person for that job?
Time will tell.
Okay.
Time will tell. I think I will say that he, you know, let's be fair. He started the week before the hurricane.
Yeah.
He was hired by a different manager looking for different skill sets. And all of that changed in his life in a matter of days.
Mhm.
Right.
And Keith is his manager now. And Keith is a 180 from his previous manager with totally different expectations. And I think Steve he's definitely trying. He's definitely made moves forward. And I think there's more to come.
So,
Well, the other thing too is we were talking to somebody who said it's not just homeowners, but that the contractors aren't familiar with the process,
or they're not doing what they really should do. There's some
Right.
of them aren't following up. Some of them are leaving the homeowners
in the lurch with the
hanging
permit.
out there.
Mhm.
And even 2 weeks ago, I was talking
And
to
they're
a
supposed
resident.
to know.
Yeah, and they
I mean,
they
they're
should be
supposed to
right.
know.
They
So
should know,
the
and
blame
they-
goes all around.
You know, and I don't know how they handle it in other municipalities per se, but people are coming in and they want to cut corners, and we are not letting them cut corners, and there's a reason for that.
Because of the next storm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so grade.
I mean, look at the places that withstood the storm.
Yeah.
The new builds
Yes.
with the new codes
Right.
and that
They
type
look
of thing.
fabulous.
We need to get to that place for everyone.
So
That was your last question.
I know
about
grade
permits.
permitting when you first started to now. 2 grades.
Permitting when I first started was an F, total fail. I think we are probably a C plus.
Okay. Well, that's progress.
It's progress.
I mean,
Yeah.
all right,
And we'll
so-
get better. I know we will.
So in a perfect world, and nothing against Andrew Hyatt, because I think he's a great guy. Keith, I don't know. I haven't had personal conversations with Keith, but for me, my read on that was he struggled with whether or not to take that job full time because he fell in love with Fort Myers Beach. He came to Fort Myers Beach and fell in love with it.
He
And
did.
he was working with a town council that it meshed so
You're
well. The
projecting.
thing, I could be wrong. I'm just telling you, this is a outside perspective. I have no inside information. I'll ask him this next week when he's on the show.
He's in Key West this weekend.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
And so
Took the Key West Express.
he meshes well with the council. It seems like, to me, the last council, the information was so closed, like you couldn't get any information. And then this council's like, it's almost like, oh wow, you got back to me. It's almost that shocking. It's almost that shocking.
Yeah.
But
Is there a
people just
question
want
in there, or are you
information.
just
I
gonna
know.
They
keep
just
going
want
on and on?
information. And and then Chris Holly pretty much, he seems to me like he set the rule down. Dude, we're consultants. We were hired for 6 months. We did our job. We're moving on. They need to find a leader. They need to find somebody that's going to take them through the next phase, which totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. It seemed like it would have been great for him to stay, but he's retired. He's retired.
He is retired. They built their, retirement home, the place that, their dream home up in Pensacola. Let's face it. Keith is going to miss us. He's going to miss all of us. I
Yeah.
mean, we have brought him into this community. And we could bring him in because he's such a good fit.
Mhm,
I mean, it's so obvious to everybody what a good fit he is. And he does a great job. And he thinks along the culture lines that we want to get to. I mean,
Mhm.
he's very open. He's very team oriented. He's very common sense driven.
mhm.
And he wants to make things better. He wants to make things streamlined and easier. There is going to be, hopefully, once we get through these contract negotiations and we can get Andy to start, hopefully ASAP. So the sooner he can start, the more time he has for balancing with Keith and just moving into that position and see everything where everything is at and laid out. So
How was that process going through it when you were interviewing all the different candidates?
Bizarre.
okay, let me
I mean,
let me
because
take a
you
step
have
back.
an HR background.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how
Right.
different is that process?
It's a 180. It's
Yeah.
a 180. So
Because it was
I-
like this.
yeah,
All
I
right,
look
let her
at a
answer.
town manager as the CEO of a corporation.
Yeah, it's a
they
big
are
position.
the CEO of our town. And when you interview for a CEO, this is a long process. And I have interviewed for a lot of CEOs, and it's months and it's meeting after meeting after meeting and dinners, and you get to know them in every aspect of their life. And this was a half hour. And oh, by the way, to all the emails that I got, we did not meet individually with these people. We had every council person had a staff person that we met with together. So it was, a sounding board, if you will.
Even if you met individually, what would be the? I mean, what's the criticism of that?
There was criticism about breaking sunshine laws, about doing this. I mean, it was just tons of criticism about it.
Wait, the sunshine law is when
I
you
know,
and other council
when
members
no other avenue, they'll throw it out there.
Okay.
That's what I found.
Well,
anyway.
if everybody knows, it takes an extreme violation of the sunshine law. If we go back to the whale when it was still standing, I have tape
is
of
that a new owner of the whale over there?
I have tape of that. That didn't violate the sunshine law. But anyway, so it was a staff member and each council member. There were half-hour meetings or whatever.
Answer.
Yeah, it was a half-hour meeting, and then they broke for lunch, and then it was 15 minutes with the public. And I do have to say,
Say it.
Everybody had their opportunity to talk to these people. It was well publicized. There was a breakfast before. They were welcome to the meeting for public comment in the afternoon. And I was extremely disappointed at the turnout.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It was well publicized. There was a breakfast, and there was public comment. One person spoke.
One person.
So my recommendation
There
to
were two people there, but one person spoke.
Please get behind Andy when he's hired, because we need him to succeed. I mean, there's no other way to do it right now. You can't go have a revolving door of town managers at this point. He needs to be somebody that everybody helps succeed.
Right.
The process that is in place that you were just talking about, is that set up by the charter? Is that set up by?
Yes, it was set up by the charter, including the muffins were written into the charter.
Silliness.
But yes, but that was set up by the
Do
charter.
you think
That
it's
is
enough? I mean, is that enough time?
Personally, no, I don't think it's
No,
enough.
you told me that
to
during the
vet-
day it was, but there was no way that you were only one vote. That was happening that day. There was no doubt. I mean, or you could have decided not to rank anybody.
It was actually 3-2. So John King and I were not ready, but it was 3-2, and so you go with the majority, and then
you move on.
I have the most background in HR, so I'm contract negotiations with Keith. So
Right. And so let's the bomb you dropped during the meeting, we just want to clear the air on that, because up until that point, I mean, I totally felt like Andy was the top person out of those four. I mean, I didn't talk to anybody else but those four. And I thought he because you have the Surfside thing. I mean, how many town managers are you going to interview that have experience with major disasters like this?
Yeah, disaster recovery.
And that was a national disaster where 98 people died. And then everybody was like, well, why did he quit? Why did he resign? Or blah, blah, blah. Well, because, elections happen, just like an election happened
in
here.
our election.
Yeah.
Look what happened the first.
Well, it took an election to get rid of that doofus finally. But so, I mean, that's what explains why he left there.
And the other reason that he left his previous job that was in Texas, COVID happened and the funding fell out. And so he was back to his home in Florida, and then Surfside is when he started there.
Yeah.
So, and before that, he had some longevity at other ones.
So
what happened?
Yeah. What did he say like that? Totally threw that. I mean, you dropped a major bomb.
It had nothing. Well, and I didn't mean to drop the bomb like that, but also noticed no one asked me about it either.
That was bullshit right there. Sorry.
So,
but the rest of the town council should have stepped up and said, Karen, what did he say to you? I mean, is this a major question that we should discuss during an open meeting? And nobody said anything.
And so, knowing that I'm HR, knowing that I've lived my life interview, there are red flags that you immediately sense. This one happened to be, it had nothing to do with his background or anything like that. It was a comment when we were actually talking about 3 different subjects. And I took it to the directive of one subject, but it really wasn't. And
what did he say?
He made a comment that could be misconstrued as a diversity type comment.
Toward women, toward minorities?
Probably toward minorities more, not women for sure.
Okay.
But minorities. But having said that, and it caught my ear.
You were ready to vote no on him at that point.
And he was my top candidate. And now going back, and once we cleared the air. So here's where I give him a ton of credit. So he was actually listening to your show from his hotel room or wherever he had it on Facebook. He heard me say that. And when he came down after the meeting was over, and he's in his shorts and flip flops, and he and his wife are ready to go walk the town and that type of thing. And he came down solely to seek me out and to talk about it. And he said, I was watching the video. I heard what you say. I honestly don't know what I said. I don't know what the issue is. And I told him, and he's like, no. Remember, we were talking about building, and we were talking about all the things that aren't there anymore. And he made the comment, it's not my dad's Miami anymore. I took it from one perspective, but he was talking about the old ball fields are not there. The old picnics are not there. The old, neighborhood parades and going out on your bike all day are not there. That was what he was talking about.
When you heard him say,
so it was a misunderstanding on your part or a misstatement on his part?
A misunderstanding on what he was alluding to.
Okay.
When said it.
So here's a dumb question. When somebody says it's not my dad's Miami, how do you take that the wrong way? I mean, what could that mean? I don't even know what that means.
If you would have heard the entire conversation.
Okay. Something else in there. Gotcha.
It was something else that was and it was misconstrued on my part. It wasn't that he said something derogatory, anything like that.
Okay.
I took it from a different point of the conversation.
Okay, so
But I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
He came down and he immediately wanted to discuss it with me and Keith, because Keith was there too.
Right.
And, shame on me. We ran out of time.
But that's why it's good to have 2 people.
That's right.
Right. And
sitting there.
We ran out of time for me to discuss it further. I mean, a half hour, it was gone like that.
Yeah.
Discussing everything.
But do you think that he came looking to you to clear it up because he thought you misunderstood it, or because he wanted the job so badly that he was going to fix it?
No, he was listening to my comments on your video, and he was perplexed.
Okay.
Because he honestly did not know
Good.
what comment he made that I took wrong.
Good. Because when I interviewed him, I instantly took a liking to him. Like, the guy gets it. The guy he's
Gets it.
He's not all about himself. He's not all about,
He's
I keep
huge
going
with
back to the last
He's
manager
huge
and
with family, and his own family is his wife is.
and that's what the previous mayor pointed out, is you're getting a good guy, you're getting a family guy, and you're getting somebody that cares about
somebody that was 24/7 after Surfside collapse. I mean, he was, the way he explained all that to us is he reminded me of Holly Smith and her directive, and how she just went gung-ho for Sanibel and all the meetings and all that. I mean, they met 3 times a day as, a council and a group, and with all the disaster recovery people and everything.
She was fabulous.
So, it really played well in my mind. This is what we need.
And you're in charge with which is
Keith and
totally. Oh, it's not Heron?
Keith and I are talking now. Karen has to put the
final contract
final
together.
contract
Oh, that's good
together.
news. You and
And so
Keith.
when-
Keith and I are doing the negotiation.
And so when will that get wrapped up, do you think?
It goes for approval April 17th at the council
Cool.
meeting. And Andy, my understanding is Andy will be there.
Nice.
So between now and then, so we're talking to him as we go through this. And if there's negotiations to be made, hopefully we can get those done.
Is there enough
before
money
the
on the
needs to
table?
be, wait a minute. It needs to be
Yes.
done
Oh,
in
good.
advance of the 17th. And then that
So it
just
can go
like
for
puts
approval.
the, okay.
Awesome.
So between now and the 17th, we want to have this done. We want to have the actual legal document in front of us on the 17th.
That'd be nice.
All right.
And so how long is the transition? How long is Keith and Chris going to be here?
Technically, Keith is here until May 15th.
All right.
So that's
Because
why
we got to
I say,
get that guy out of here. He's been around long enough. I'm tired of seeing his face everywhere. Let's get him
I'm
out of
gonna
here.
miss
I
him.
know.
I'm going to totally
know.
miss him.
He's
He's been
such a
But
my
he
good
could
guy.
stay a
sounding
little
board.
longer,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you could.
He'll stay as long as he'll stay for
as long
free
as
as long
needs
as
to
he
be.
Yeah.
to help
Yeah,
out,
he stays
which is
as long.
nice.
Well, he even talked about, he goes, well, maybe I should just take another month and just be down here. I love it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's such a good egg.
yeah, he's great.
So, what's it going to take for Andy to succeed? It's a big project.
It's a big project. Keith and I have already talked about, so the contract is the contract, and there's some things that are standard and something, but performance is the measurable, and that does not go into the contract. That is a separate document. Goals, objectives, performance reviews, expectations, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. That's the way I have lived my life. And so Keith and I have talked about that. So he's starting on that as we speak with everything that he's going to be in the middle of that
Mhm.
needs to go forward.
Well, that'll be interesting because it's not a regular town manager's job. You're rebuilding an entire
Right,
7-mile
right,
island.
Right.
Right.
And what the town doesn't need is constant turnover in that position.
No,
so
we do not
hopefully-
need turnover.
And the
And you made the comment. I think you made the comment with the way the
election.
elections
could
are
be here
set
for 8
up.
years.
He could be here for
Yeah,
8
and
years
I know.
with the same
She's
people.
not here anymore, but I know who I'm going to push to run for Bill Veach's seat if he decides not to run. Is Barb? Do you know Barb? She used to be on the public safety committee. She is freaking
Well,
fabulous.
I don't know her, but I've met her
Oh my
through
gosh.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Bobby
reason I
Jerry
said
Kemp.
that was because if Andy's doing a good job and he doesn't have to worry about the election, because every town manager is one vote away from being, fired. That's just the way it goes. They count votes. And right now it seems like he has 5.
Yep. Usually, though, we're 4-1. So
Yeah. But it looked like even Bill was in favor of Andy. He was his top choice out of that crew. I think that, so, I mean, and
Well, the
so
performance
measures, is that something that's public where people can see what he's being,
yeah, it's because the performance reviews are public.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that it wouldn't be part of public record of what the expectations are,
I think
the
one of
roadmap.
and
one
who
of-
comes up with those? You
Well,
guys?
right now, Keith and I
Okay.
are starting on them, but we definitely want to and Keith will get input from the mayor, the vice mayor, from John, from Bill. So, so everybody's going to have their input
I
on
think
it.
one of the reasons of many that people took a liking to Keith and Chris was because they were so open. Like
Yes.
they communicated with
Yeah.
the community so much
Yep, they did.
all the time.
They
They were at events. You could talk to them. You can go up to them,
Mhm.
and it was a change of. It was like a complete turnaround from what it was before that. And hopefully Andy's the same way, because I think that when you do it that way, you get more support from the people in the community. They want you to succeed, as opposed to when you just seem like you're going to be a hard ass and
Right.
and drive people
Right.
into the ground all the time.
Well, and he was very open about his family situation, that he'll be here, and this is the way they've worked for the last 2 years in Surfside. Their daughter is a junior in college. I think she's got 2 more years to go. His wife works at the college, so therefore it's free tuition.
Mhm.
So she will continue to work at the college in Northern Florida, and daughter will graduate in 2 years, and they will commute. They've been married for 34 years. They figured it out. So
Right.
they'll commute back and forth. She'll visit here. He'll visit there. He said they meet in Orlando a lot. So they already have talked about this. They already know what their plan is, and he was very open through the whole interview process.
Well, and they did it
about
while
that.
he was in Surfside. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
They did it while he was in Texas.
The other, like there was one other candidate that was somewhat okay, but it was
Keith's brother.
Yeah.
Wilkins.
And the other two were like, okay, there were throw-ins here. I mean, it wasn't even close to me. And the voting turned out to be not even close. I mean, Andy won it by a mile.
Yeah, he did.
So Karen, if you were to choose one commercial location that would be the first to rebuild on the island, which one do you think it's going to be?
It's going to be, I think there could be a tie. It could be between the Whale.
Yes.
And it could be between the Cottage.
There we go.
Oh, that's new. I thought the Whale for sure. I mean, those folks are ready to roll.
They're ready to roll.
Yeah, so.
They are. And Don and Mike
They
were here.
here.
I don't see him anymore, but
well, that's because he's going on and on.
I know.
And on.
It's an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
We've got 14% power left. Last question.
Oh, good. We're running out of power.
Yeah.
What keeps you up at night?
What doesn't keep me up at night lately? Well, I'm working on my own permit again. So we got the permit for the fence. We got the permit for the redecking of the dock. We got the permit for the outside enclosure of the house. Now I'm working on the inside, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
I will say that. So I personally am going through the permitting process, folks. The biggest thing is, so the whole 6 month and all the notoriety that it received, and it was it was really, really a tough day. It was a tough week. It's been tough, but I want all of us to move forward now. I think that's the biggest thing. And how can we move forward most effectively, most efficiently? What's done is done, and there's no going back. So now what do we need to do to continue to move forward and rebuild and continue to keep that closenessity of all of our people here and our residents? And I keep seeing more and more for sale signs, and it's breaking my heart.
Today was, I just saw so many in a row.
I went up and down the island the other day. I was gone for a week. I did spring break with my kids and grandkids, and when I came back, I just drove the island the other day, and it's like so many more for sale signs than were a month ago. And that truly breaks my heart, but I get it. But I hope we can get past this. I want people to start moving forward. I want to see construction. I want to see building. I want to hear noise. I want to be woken up at 6 a.m. because somebody's sawing or pounding or whatever it may be.
Not knocking down a building, but putting one back up.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like the whole idea, you talked about doing the 5K run on the beach, and people are ready. Well, get this one. So I just brainstormed with Jeff at Bay Oaks this morning, and I think we are going to shoot for a 4th of July parade.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah. You heard it here first.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
So Jeff is all over it. I mean, he's like, oh my gosh, Bay Oaks always did this. I got the template. We can do it.
Estero Boulevard is finally clear enough where you can.
Boulevard, we can bring it all. You start at Bay Oaks, come here, end here with Wahoo Willie's. Maybe we can get Wahoo and Snug to be sponsors
or
of
Bayside
us,
Park could be a concert at oh, wait a second.
Yeah,
it's still got a red fence around.
We were so close. We
don't have any outlets on the stage. So
I know they're putting bids out for it though. So I know they're getting closer to eventually fixing Bayside Park. But
and you know what would be so cool?
Yeah.
Is if someone wanted to like donate fireworks and a barge and have a big fireworks
nice
display.
Way to end it.
That would have to
we should
be a
start
donation.
Working on that. We need a committee.
Yeah, well, Bay Oaks, Jeff at Bay Oaks, he's going to head up that whole committee, but we need
funds.
See, right? We'll get there.
Figure it out.
We'll get there.
Karen, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for everything. I don't want to interrupt her. Round of applause, Karen Woodson, everybody, town council woman, and a great friend of the show. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Karen is always awesome. just coming on the show and telling us honestly everything that's going on.
Boy, you're long-winded today.
I know we went an hour and a half. I love going an hour and a half. Keeps customers here. Bored out of their mind, but it keeps them here. But last week we went 50 minutes. So this week we had to tack on a few more minutes. So folks, if you haven't registered for the 5K, please do. We're hoping for 300 people. We're raising money for FMB Strong, which is 820 Buttonwood. Although we're having a concert here on April the 29th, which is going to be collecting backpacks for the kids.
And supplies.
And supplies. There's a wish list up there if you go to our website. We appreciate you guys. Bike ride tomorrow. Are you taking Easter off?
No, I got to cook.
Oh, yeah. We're finally getting our backyard done. We're living the life out in Gateway, but we really love Fort Myers Beach. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great holiday weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the bracelet.
Thank you. I can't believe she's 9.